Good evening, everyone. We're just going to wait a couple more seconds for any latecomers. Thank you for your patience. All right, guys. So good evening and welcome to our webinar where we will be discussing the importance of insurance within superannuation. My name's Jack Sheriff. I'm a member account specialist at Brighter Super. I meet with members on a regular basis, and part of our discussion is the importance of understanding the options available within your superannuation for insurance cover. It is one of our most popular topics at seminars, and we hope by at the end of this session you will gain a further understanding of the importance of insurance cover. I recognise this is a heavy subject, but hope you stay with me as we talk through what can be a complex subject. Brighter Super acknowledges the traditional owners of the lands we meet on today, and we pay our respects to elders past and present. We are proud to serve Queensland's 17 Indigenous councils, and we strive to provide positive outcomes for our members who identify as Aboriginal and/or Torres Strait Islander. Now, it is important to understand that the information and examples contained in the webinar are general in nature and have been prepared without taking into account your individual objectives, financial situations, or needs. Evening. It is important when making decisions about your superannuation or your super options that you obtain the relevant product disclosure statement and target market determination and consider your own personal circumstances. You can access these documents and the privacy policy and the financial services guide from the Brighter Super website. Now, today's presentation will run for about 30 minutes. Many of you have submitted questions already, which we hope to have tried to incorporate into the presentation. You can also post questions into the Q&A feature, and during our presentation today, we'll aim to answer them directly. Now, we have Michelle Segura standing by as our moderator today. Michelle has over 24 years in the superannuation industry, and she's regularly out in the field with me providing super health checks to members across the region, or across Queensland, really. Say hello, Michelle.
Thanks, Jack. Yeah, I'm showing my age. I've been around for a little bit, all in Brisbane and Queensland. So, yeah, look forward to answering your questions. And thanks very much, everyone, and Jack.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Michelle. Again, we will have times for questions at the end, and we will try to answer as many as possible throughout. And we will also be running some poll questions throughout today's presentation. So when the question pops up on your screen, please just click an answer that's appropriate to you. Now, before we move on to the main subject, I would like to take the opportunity to briefly explain who we are, as we do have some non-members joining us today. The merger between LGIA Super and Energy Super, plus the acquisition of Suncorp Super, has enabled us to increase our size and scale, yet remain committed to investing in the personalised member services that you know and enjoy. Now, we serve over 280,000 members with more than 34 billion in funds under management, and we receive double-digit returns for the balanced accumulation and balanced pension options for the full year of 2024. Now let's talk insurance. Insurance is something that most people know is good to have. Most people have insurance for their assets like cars and homes. However, what a lot of people don't think about is actually insuring themselves. We insure our cars and our homes to make sure that we have a way of getting from A to B, and to make sure we will have a functional roof over our head. But what happens when something happens to us? If we can't work temporarily? What if it's never again? Or what happens when we pass away? Our ability to provide an income for ourselves and our loved ones is paramount to this life. Without it, our life and the life of the ones we love could look very different. This is why making sure you are appropriately insured for the what ifs is as important or even more important than the other insurances that we have in our life. And that is why I applaud all of you for joining this webinar today to learn more about what insurances you may have within your superannuation, along with how we can help to protect you and your family and how to get you there. Now, insurance cover can assist many Australians at difficult moments in their lives. Here are some statistics around why insurance is so important. In the 2023 financial year, $11.8 billion was paid out insurance claims in the life insurance industry. Insurance can be provided to you by your superannuation fund, working to protect you and your loved ones. It's obvious here that these insurances within our superannuation provide significant financial protection, with the trustee working with the insurance companies to ensure best member outcomes, and as a result, above 90% of insurance acceptances rates on average. Insurance is there when it's needed, the most to provide financial support in the hardest of times when people are ill, grieving, or vulnerable. Protecting yourself and your loved ones through insurance gives you the peace of mind knowing that your finances are one less thing to worry about. So, generally, your superannuation fund will offer default insurances when you have a balance over $6,000 and over the age of 25. These insurances are these insurances are death insurance, total and permanent disablement insurance, and income insurance. These insurances are built into your superannuation account, with premiums generally taken from the balance of your account. Let's have a look at each of these in a little more detail. We'll be using the word underwriting during this presentation, so it's important to understand what the underwriting process involves. When you want to increase your insurance coverage outside of life and age events, you generally need to go through an underwriting process. Don't worry, we will cover what a life and age event is in more detail later in the presentation. This process it involves completing a detailed health questionnaire about your existing health conditions. As with any insurance application, it's important to answer these questions honestly and accurately. The health questionnaire helps the insurer determine how much cover is appropriate and at what cost. Death insurance is paid out on your passing as a lump sum payment to your beneficiaries. This is generally paid out along with the balance of your superannuation account, either when the account is closed or transferred for a reversionary beneficiary. Death cover can also be paid out if you have been diagnosed with a terminal illness, payable as a lump sum to you, along with the balance of your superannuation account if you choose. Now, as mentioned previously, most super funds offer death insurance as a default level of cover. However, it can be increased or decreased if you believe the default level isn't correct for you. As mentioned in our previous slide, if you are requesting an increase to your level of cover, then this may mean that you'll have to go through that underwriting process. As a reminder, this is where the insurer may ask a series of health questions to determine if you're eligible to change and the premium that they may charge you. We will talk more about changing your level of cover later in this actual presentation. Now, death cover is important as it helps support your loved ones financially. The lump sum payment can be used to pay off the mortgage or other debts, provide for your children's education, and just give your loved ones time away from work as they grieve. Total and permanent disablement, also known as TPD, is an insurance that may cover you if you become injured or ill and are unable to work again in the future. This insurance is a one-off lump sum payment if you're totally and permanently disabled due to sickness or injury. The balance of your superannuation account is also usually paid out at the time of making a TPD claim, or you may be eligible to start a pension. There can be an assessment period from the time you become totally and permanently disabled to the time you make a claim, depending on the insurance you have. But generally, it takes 3 to 6 months. Just like death insurance, you can apply to increase or decrease this cover pending underwriting. TPD can be important because it provides a lump sum to help cover many changes that could happen if you were, to be injured or become ill, unable to ever work again. This could be replacing, lost income, making changes to the home, lifestyle changes, and possible changes to cars. Income protection insurance is another type of insurance option available through superannuation. This insurance generally provides frequent payments if you're temporarily unable to work in your occupation because of injury or illness. There can be a percentage of the benefit paid to your super. The amount you are paid depends on your sum insured, which is calculated as a percentage of your income. There is usually a waiting period that needs to be served before you can make a claim on income protection, and sometimes you may need to use all of your sick leave as well, depending on the type of income protection you have. Income protection is important as it helps cover you or cover your usual spendings and living expenses while you're unable to work. Like the others, this insurance can be tailored pending the underwriting process. So now that we know what insurance we can have in our superannuation accounts, let's talk about how much insurance we may need. When we think about how much insurance we may need, we want to take into consideration a few key factors that can help determine what level of cover may be right for us. So this will help us understand the gap between, we need to cover and where the insurances would be needed to protect the ones that we love or our income. So some questions you may have to ask yourself to help work this out. That could be, if something happened to my income, how much would my partner's income be provided to? Also, what assets would we have available to draw it from if any? And how much money would be needed for the future upbringing of children? So, for example, childcare, schooling, university. Is there a house that would be sold or a mortgage that needs to be paid? Understanding ongoing living expenses for you or your family. What debt needs to be paid, either immediately or ongoing. Oh, sorry. Just having, sorry about that, guys. A little bit of a technical issue. But back to that, what other things we can think about? Does my job carry an additional risk, or do I have any lifestyle factors to maintain? What else with the things like how long until I'd like to retire, and does my income protection cover me for long enough? All of these sort of questions will help create a picture of what it might look like if you no longer had an income or if you passed away. So this can then help you understand the amount of insurance that you may need to make sure your loved ones are looked after something, if something were to happen. Now, after thinking about some of those key factors and determining what might need to be covered with insurance, it's a great idea to find out how much insurance we need. So, I'm going to start off with the first poll question, guys. Do you know how much insurance you have? Yes or no? Nice and easy. Awesome, guys. So about a 50-50 at the moment. That's good. So good. This is a good little indicator for maybe to log on to your member online and look at the insurance tab to see what you've got there. Hopefully this is a little bit of a wake-up call. Thanks everyone for going along with the poll questions. Now, again, to help you with this, we actually have a calculator on our website that can help calculate how much insurance you need, and it's a great tool to use to give you clarity around your insurance position. You can find this under the Insurance tab on our website. Brighter Super also offers personal financial advice around how much insurance you need through our intra-fund advice service. This is where a financial advisor can tell you how much insurance you need within your superannuation based on your personal circumstances and how much it would cost. This service is at no additional cost it's no additional cost, and it's actually part of your membership, which is great. And we will talk about this service a little bit later in our presentation. So how do we go about changing our level of cover and to what we need? Now, a great way to increase your insurance for death only or death and TPD without going through the underwriting process is to apply to increase your insurances due to a life event. So there can be different terms and conditions, so it's important to check your individual policy. Some of these events might include marriage, divorce, birth or adoption of a child, a new mortgage, or increasing your existing mortgage by at least $100,000. To be eligible, you need to apply within 90 days of the event or within 90 days of the day we send your annual member statement, as long as as long as the event has been within the last 12 months and provide evidence of that event. The best place to find all of these things about the insurance is within the actual insurance section on our website, brightersuper.com.au. You can find this under the superannuation tab across the top of our homepage and then click insurance. Here you can find our insurance guides and PDSs for each insurance product. Our insurance calculators are there to help determine your ideal level of insurance cover and learn more about how insurance works within your Brighter Super account. When looking at our insurance guides, please ensure you are reviewing the guide associated with the industry that you work in. Now, when applying for your cover, you generally have the option of applying for a unit-based cover or a fixed dollar cover. Now, the unit-based cover means you apply for a number of units, and each unit holds a value of cover. Generally, as you age, the value of those units decrease, meaning that the value of your insurance cover will decrease, but the premiums will actually stay the same. Fixed dollar cover, as it sounds, means that you apply for a set or fixed amount of insurance coverage, which does not decrease as you get older. However, the premium for this cover may actually increase as you get older. Now, we also offer occupational risk rating options to align with the type of work that you do. For example, white-collar workers, which are those who primarily work in an office environment, may be eligible for a lower premium just due to the level of risk when at work, when a blue-collar worker who may be in a more manual handling role. So members also have the option to transfer their existing insurance from another superannuation fund as well to Brighter Super as part of a consolidation. And we can facilitate that with our transfer of insurance form and have your insurance transferred over without needing to go through underwriting again. Now, it is important to note that if you transfer your other super from one provider to another, your insurance cover with your new provider may be subject to a waiting period. You should make sure you know whether you have continuous cover or whether there is a gap. There are advantages to having insurance through your superannuation, such as premiums are taken straight from your super account, so there is no need to find the money as an out-of-pocket expense. Sometimes your employer will pay the premiums for you if it's built into your employment contract. Insurance is often provided as a default cover, meaning there is no need for a health check or physical to get these insurances. And premiums may be cheaper in superannuation, particularly if the fund uses group life cover. The premiums are generally tax deductible to the fund, and most super funds pass this tax deduction on to their members. Whereas outside of super, only income protection premiums may be tax deductible. The deduction of insurance premiums from your super erode the value of your balance over time. Members have the option to make additional contributions to their super to offset that eroding effect. We can help you with our salary sacrifice calculator, which is located on our website. Now, some members might want to know, how does someone make a claim if was something to happen to them or a loved one? And what's the process it will go through? Each claim is different and personalized to a person's circumstances and situation. However, this is the general process of events. First, either yourself or someone else, in the event of your death, would need to contact the fund to advise you that you would like to make a claim. If you are able to make the claim yourself, you can also start this process by logging into your member online account and clicking Make a Claim in the insurance section. Once this has happened, if applying online, you'll complete the forms online or download the forms to be filled out. If not, the fund or the insurer will send forms to be completed by the member or beneficiaries. Once the forms are completed, they need to be returned to the insurer to be assessed. From here, there may be some back and forth to make sure the insurer has all the information they need to assess the claim. Next, the insurer makes a decision on the claim and will forward that to the trustee of the super fund. The trustee is the law responsible for the members' outcomes in both insurance and superannuation, which is why we work with the insurance companies on the members' behalf. The trustee will then review the decision and advise of the decision to the member, beneficiary, or claimant. And if it is approved, the trustee would then pay the claim to the relevant claimant. Now, following what we have learnt in this presentation today, what are your next steps? Check your insurance policies. If it's important to you understand what you're insured for currently, then you can start the process of making sure you're covered correctly. If you're wanting to know your current level of cover, it's easy to find through your member online account. Once you log in, you can find the insurance tab on the left-hand side. This will show you your current level of cover as well as the options if you want to make changes to this insurance. Check your occupational risk rating. This is a nice and easy check through the member online in the insurance section. By making changes to your risk rating, you may be able to save yourself some money in premiums. Determine level of cover needed. This might be a good opportunity to speak with your loved ones about insurance and understand what cover you would need to have in place if something were to happen to you. Speak about the 9 key factors to consider when you use the insurance calculator on our website to find out what cover and how much might be needed. Book a super health check or get some personal financial advice with the fund. What makes Brighter Super different to other superannuation funds? It's our commitment to personal service. We have a dedicated team of member account specialists who are here to support you. If you'd like to talk to one of our staff one-on-one for more general information about your superannuation, then why not book in for a super health check? A super health check covers a variety of areas and includes reviewing your beneficiary nomination. If you'd like to book now, there is a QR code on the screen. You will also receive a link to book a super health check in the coming days alongside today's webinar recording. Our team services members all over Queensland with face-to-face services and also digital channels, so you can get some general guidance on a range of superannuation topics no matter where you live or work. Brighter Super offers a range of personalised advice options suited to an individual member needs. If you're looking for specific information about making contributions, investment strategies, or insurance needs, the intra-fund advice team that we previously mentioned can assist. Two of the most common questions members ask as what they approach retirement are, how much super do I need to retire? And do I have enough super? A retirement health check with one of the financial advisors will help you answer these questions. We also offer scaled, and we also offer comprehensive personal advice service. The scaled service provides advice on specific topics such as transition to retirement account or pension account. Comprehensive service takes a holistic view of your financial situation to tailor advice to suit your individual needs. The cost will depend on the complexity of the advice and the cost can be taken out or deducted from your Brighter Super accumulation account. It's never too early to start planning for your future, so talk to us about how we can help. So similar to today's Insurance in Super webinar, our seminar webpage includes a range of upcoming webinar topics. Keep an eye on this page as we update it regularly. On the previous two slides, we discussed our range of advice services. These cover our super health checks and intra-fund advice, both of which are at no additional cost to our members, to the other types of advice, such as retirement health checks, scaled and comprehensive advice. Our next poll question for you is, after today's webinar, are you planning on getting advice? Yes or no? Again, guys, we've got some there that are no additional cost, which is great. You might be able to speak to someone like Michelle and I, but that we do go that little bit extra further, and we can get some of those paid advice. But it's great to see that a good chunk of you are considering getting advice. We always do recommend it. Now, I actually have covered a lot of ground today. So just remember, you can also visit the resources tab for calculators and forms and info sheets for more information on what we have discussed. So we have tried to answer questions throughout the webinar tonight, but I will invite Michelle to come onto screen and to ask or answer any of the questions we couldn't get into the Q&A chat. Now, just during the Q&A, I will revert back to the Super Health Check slide to give you additional time should you wish to book in for an appointment. Thanks, Michelle.
Thanks, Jack. Awesome job. Lots of information, and thanks everyone for sticking around while Jack got through that. Lots of words. You deserve a drink. So we did have some questions that were pre-submitted, and they were mainly in regards to things that you copied, such as how do I change my level of cover? How do I find out what I have? What actually do I have? And there was even one in there in regards to like looking for insurance needs and increasing as well again. So I think you've pretty much covered everything off, Jack. There was one particular question that came through right at the very end in terms of when you retire, does your insurance, do they automatically cut out, or is it something that you have to proactively do yourself?
Awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it does depend on which coverage that you do have. Now, yeah, so I would recommend downloading your PDS and just having a read of what that might be, because it might end on particular ages. But generally, if you do, retire and it is still running, you may have to reach out to the fund and request to cancel that. So, and in particular with those ages between 60 and 64, when you're getting around to that 65 to 70 mark, that's where we come back to. It would depend on the type of insurance that you have, because that may cancel depending on the policy.
Or even if you need it, right, Jack? It's a question that comes up as, my super balance is X. Do I need this insurance? Because it's usually something that happens in a time of need. Do I need it? So, yeah.
Exactly right. And whenever that kind of it happens, just reach out to the fund and just ask, because everyone's circumstances are a little bit different. But hopefully that's helped.
Thank you. Well, back to you.
Thank you. But guys, I just want to say once again, thank you so much for taking the time to come along to attend our webinar. Now, we do have one last question before we bring things to a close. Overall, how satisfied were you with today's webinar? Again, thank you so much for attending today's presentation. We do hope to speak with you soon. Your feedback is amazing. That's how we can, tailor these webinars. But again, guys, thank you so much.